Big Ten hockey is here on WCBN Sports as the 8th-ranked Michigan Wolverines take on the 6th-ranked Minnesota Golden Gophers in the second game of this home series here in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Welcome, everybody. Jake Singer alongside Peter Nasr. So glad to have you all along as we get you ready for Michigan hockey right here on WCBN Sports. Last night was a strong but disappointing showing for the Maize and Blue, coming up just short to the Golden Gophers at home, losing 4-3, taking a 3-2 lead into the third period. The Wolverines could not close the game out and ended up giving up 2 unanswered goals to lose at home. Peter, so glad to have you alongside myself. What happened last night for the Wolverines?
Yeah, you hit on the main point. It's just the lack of Michigan being able to play full 60 minutes. We saw it last week in Madison, 2 games in Madison, both losses where they gave up leads in the third period, late in the third period, and they did it again last night against Minnesota. It's starting to become a little trend, maybe a little worrisome. And for Michigan today, they got to play a full 60 minutes. They played really well throughout for most of the hockey game, but that third period really needs to be emphasized tonight, and I think that Coach Nasr is going to have them ready to roll for a full 60 minutes tonight.
You see, the Wolverines got swept by Wisconsin. Now they lose to Minnesota, so a little bit of a skid right now. So, they're trying to rewrite the narrative tonight. Peter, what is 1 or 2 players that really need to rewrite that narrative and kind of take the game into their own hands here for the Wolverines?
Yeah, when I think about a skid, you look to your leaders, you look to your captain. I'm looking at Jacob Truscott tonight. He had poor defensive play last night, gave up the game-winning goal. And I think he's being chosen to be the captain for a reason, and his leadership, being able to come back from that, I think he's going to get the guys ready to go today. And I think this should be a really fun hockey game in Michigan. I think we'll be ready to play, and we'll look to get back on track in this Big Ten as we're starting to get in a little bit of the thick of the Big Ten race here early on in the season.
Your starting lineups tonight. First for the Golden Gophers, Cal Thomas and Ryan Chesley are the defensemen that are going to start on the ice for the Golden Gophers. Bryce Brodzinski, Jackson Nelson, and Mason Nevers will be the forwards. For the Wolverines, Dylan Duke, Gavin Brindley, and Rucker McGroarty are going to be the forwards to start on the ice tonight. Tyler Duke and Seamus Casey will be the defensemen for Michigan as we're just about to get ready here as both teams are going to meet center ice. Gavin Brindley and Jackson Nelson will take the face-off for their respective teams, and we're underway here in Ann Arbor. Minnesota controls the puck for just a second as the Wolverines finally control the puck once again and send it out of play as we have a really quick stop here within the first 10 seconds of tonight's contest.
Yeah, basically restart 5 seconds in, just redo it all over again for the center ice stop.
Brindley and Nelson once again. Nelson wins the face-off for the second time as Minnesota sends it all the way down into Michigan zone. Wolverines in their white uniforms tonight, blue pants. Minnesota in their red/maroon colored uniforms tonight. Wolverines control the puck for just a second. Move it inside the Golden Gopher zone. Brindley sends it around to McGroarty. McGroarty dumps it off to Tyler Duke. And Minnesota is able to clear that puck as both teams have full line shifts and get their first lines on the ice. Garrett Shifsky sends the puck into the Minnesota zone for just a moment until Minnesota is able to retain control of the puck here. Marshall Warren sends it all the way inside now as Justin Close, the goaltender for Minnesota, is able to retrieve the puck for just a second. Jake Barcheski in goal for the Wolverines. Warren has it now going in right side. He's looking to shoot. He has a shot on goal. That goes wide. Minnesota has control of the puck now. Snuggerud sends it all the way in for the Golden Gophers. Moldenhauer is able to control the puck for just a second as Minnesota retreats once again for the puck. 18:27 left here in the first period. Luca Fantilli, some stick fighting going on with Connor Kurth. Fish has it now for Minnesota. One-timer shot. Barcheski is able to make the save. Wolverines finally gain control of the puck. Philip Lapointe sends it back to Seamus Casey, and the Wolverines will regroup here. 18 minutes left here in the first period. Wolverines threatening. Keenan Draper, right side, trying to get inside to Marcus Stoppa. That goes wide. Fish now has it for Minnesota. Still in the Minnesota zone. Golden Gophers try to send it all the way down, cannot, as Estapa makes a nice stop there, and he just tucks it inside to the corner of the Minnesota zone. Brindley, sorry, that's McGroarty. Quick shot, and that's going to be a glove save there by Close as we get a stoppage of play here at 17:25 left in the first period.
And these first couple of minutes, I really like Michigan's physicality in their offensive zone, being able to hold the puck in a couple times, and they're getting their first shot on goal of the game, which was easily saved by Close. That's what you like to see early in the game, get that flow of the game going.
So we got a face-off now in the Minnesota zone. Minnesota's able to win that face-off as they now are on the offensive attack. Jackson Nelson moves all the way in, right side, tries to wrap around goal. Barczewski is able to make the save. Jackson Nelson almost had the wraparound, and Barczewski says as he makes another save there for the Wolverines.
Yeah, the captain using his speed to get around, tried to get the wraparound to go, and Barczewski with a great job keeping the pad down on the ice and holding it for the save and getting the face-off in the defensive zone, his second save of the evening.
Frank Nasr and Jackson Nelson with the face-off. As Nelson wins it for just a second, and Shifsky takes it from him. Shifsky for the Wolverines going in left side. He gets stopped as the puck goes all the way into the left corner of the Minnesota zone. Seamus Casey now top of the zone. Sends it to Nasr. Back to Casey. Casey moving right side, trying to wrap around left side, and that goes wide. Tyler Duke retreats for the puck for the Wolverines as the Wolverines try again. Shifsky sends it in the zone. Nasr making a stop. Tries to get it to one of his teammates and cannot as the Golden Gophers retake possession here of the puck. As they move in right side now of the Michigan zone. Minnesota has the puck now. It gets taken away. Seamus Casey moving in right side. He has numbers. He finds Brindley. Brindley one-timer. That goes wide. Seamus Casey once again looking for a stop. And Wolverines have 3 shots there and cannot find the back of the net. Nice stops there by Close. Seamus Casey to Warren. Warren moving in left side now. Looking for Dylan Duke. And the puck gets tipped up in the air. And Minnesota is able to get the puck out of its own zone. It sends it all the way back down as Gavin Brindley has to retreat for it. 15:43 left here in the first period. Sam Renzel for the Golden Gophers. Renzel. Quick shot there by number 81. That's Jimmy Snuggerud. Fish to Clark as Kurth gets boarded by Marshall Warren. Philip LaPointe there fighting with number 17, Brody Lamb, and Michigan's able to retake possession of the puck. Moldenhauer sending it all the way down to Close, the goaltender of Minnesota. Brendan Miles comes into the game for Michigan. Moldenhauer tries to tip it in the Minnesota side as it goes out of bounds and out of play. 14:52 left here in the first period.
Yeah, we saw Michigan get their first real good opportunity here offensively with Gavin Brindley taking it into the slot. But Gritch saved by Close, and 3 shots to 2 in favor of the Wolverines here early these first 5 minutes of gameplay.
Estapa and Middlestat center ice. Estapa wins the faceoff. Michigan trying to get something going. Minnesota, nice defense there for just a second. Now Estapa takes it back away for the Wolverines. Brendan Miles tries to get it to Keenan Draper, and that goes all the way to the Minnesota zone, and Minnesota retreats for the puck. Strobel for Minnesota, sending it to his teammate, Luke Middlestat. We have Luke and John tonight for the Golden Gophers. Middlestat has it. Thomas tries to get it all the way in to Barczewski, who makes the glove save. 14:12 left. Wolverines and Golden Gophers are tied with 3 shots on goal apiece.
And Thomas letting it fly from the point, but no Golden Gopher bodies in front. That's an easy glove save for Barczewski, who hasn't really had any quality scoring chances against him. He's made the routine save so far.
Nasr, and I believe that's Jackson Nelson, face off. Nasr wins it. Nasr had a fantastic game last night for Michigan. As the puck goes out of play, and we'll have another face-off here, 14:05 left in the first period.
A nice catch by the fan. The blue gave it to his son, who holds it up to a nice ovation from the children of Yost. Nice little souvenir there. Always fun to get a puck.
Nasr wins a face-off once again, going up against Nelson. Wolverine sending it all the way around behind the goaltender. Minnesota picks the puck back up, tries to get it to Nelson, cannot. Shifsky has it now right side for the Wolverines. Quick shot! That goes wide. Gets deflected by a Minnesota defenseman. Wolverines trying to regain control of the puck. Some stick fighting there with 2 Golden Gophers. As Michigan has a one-timer, Frank Nasr, and that gets stopped by Close.
Nasr got the puck in the slot. Close tried to poke check it. He may have made it more difficult for Nasr, who is right up and tight, and he couldn't get a real good shot on Close, who was able to freeze it. Another good opportunity for Michigan, using the physicality to force the turnover. Yeah, it looks like Close was able to poke check it away, not really give up a shot opportunity at all there.
Nasr had a one-on-one opportunity with Close. 13:31 left here in the first period. Nice goaltender work there by Close. Warren has the top of the zone, tries to get a deflection, cannot. Rebound opportunity there by Truscott. That also misses. Truscott tries to send it in for a 3rd time, and Close is finally able to maintain control of the puck as we have a little bit of feistiness going on between both teams. Referees quickly skate in to break it up. 13:16 left here in the first period.
Yeah, a little extracurricular there after the play behind Close, but Michigan doing a good job there on that quick sequence, moving the puck around, getting a shot opportunity on Close, having some bodies in front, making the saves a little more difficult, but Close has stood strong so far. That's 6 saves on the evening so far for him in 7 minutes.
Nelson wins the faceoff for the Gophers. Minnesota just trying to get the puck out of its zone as it finally does. Truscott, though, quickly back there for it. Nevers sends it all the way back into the Michigan zone. Warren retreats for it. LaPointe to TJ Hughes. Back to Warren. I think it all the way into Hughes, who tips it in as Close is there for the Golden Gophers. 12:45 left here in the first period. As Michigan is able to retrieve the puck for just a second, but cannot get it over the Minnesota defender. And finally, Michigan's able to maintain control. Moldenhauer trying to send it into Luca Fantilli, who gets boarded and actually boards the Golden Gopher as he was trying to get decked on the boards. Getting checked there. Another check. As we'll see who comes up with it. There's a lot of fighting going on in the right corner of the Minnesota zone. Tyler Duke finally comes up with the puck. Top of the zone, tries to get it in to, I believe that's Warren, and cannot. And Minnesota is going the other way with it. Minnesota sends it into the Michigan zone. Wolverines just tip it right back into the Minnesota zone, and we have an icing call here. 11:43 left in the first period.
And Michigan upping the physicality. We saw Luca Fantilli finish his check there. Gavin Brindley with a couple hits. But really just trying to establish the tone here in a very important early Big Ten game. Michigan and Minnesota both at the bottom after they struggled early this season, with both getting swept to Wisconsin, who's looked really good this season. So this is an important game just to establish some positioning in the Big Ten and what's going to be another tight race in a very good Big Ten conference.
Brindley loses the faceoff. Quick shot there by Kurth. Nice block there by Warren. Kurth tries another shot there and misses wide as Michigan just gets it out of the zone and retreats, making a line change. 11:24 left here in the first period. Minnesota just sends it all the way down into the Michigan zone. A little tip-in action there, so they can make a change. Brindley and Draper trying to get the puck, but cannot. Lamb almost has it, but gives it to Clark for a second, who loses the puck. Draper tries to get the puck for himself for the Wolverines, and finally just sends it all the way back down into the Minnesota zone. Still a 0-0 game. Michigan leading 6-3. Puck goes all the way down to Barczewski, who gloves it and hands it off to one of his players. But Michigan tries to send it all the way down into the Minnesota zone. No icing is called, I believe. One of the Michigan forwards tipped it in. Seamus Casey tries to keep the puck in still for just a second. 10:36 left here in the first period. Minnesota has it right side in their own zone. Strobel trying to get control of the puck, but cannot. Luca Fantilli comes up with it. Strobel has it once again. Gets it taken away. Ernest gives it away now once again. Quick shot there. That goes wide. Minnesota trying to shoot it on Barczewski. Seamus Casey to Luca Fantilli. To Shifsky for the Wolverines. Shifsky sends it all the way down left side, trying to get it to the right side to one of his players. Frank Nasr going up against two Minnesota defenders. Nasr comes up with it right side. Quick shot. That goes wide. Nice block there by Close. Warren trying to do something with it. Sends it behind the goal. Shifsky has it now. Back to Warren. Top of the zone. Warren tries it with a shot. That gets blocked by Strobel. Shifsky trying to maintain control of the puck and cannot. Lamb has it now for Minnesota. 9:25 left in the first period. Warren to LaPointe. LaPointe moving inside the blue line to Moldenhauer. Moldenhauer right side to LaPointe, who's behind the goal. Seamus Casey now top right side. He moves in right side, looks for a shot, and that can't find the net. Nice block there by Strobel yet again. Minnesota, quick shot opportunity. Pinning it. And nice save there by Barczewski as we have more extracurricular activities going on. Pinanimi was the one who had the shot on goal.
Yeah, the St. Louis Blue draft like Jimmy Snuggerud with a really good play as he brought the Gophers into their zone and making Barczewski have to make a really good save as we get across the halfway point in the period. 8:57 to go in the first, and the ice sheet gets cleaned off here. But I really like Michigan's forecheck offensively. They really held the puck in their offensive zone quite a lot here today, and they have not given up many good chances. That was the first real good transition opportunity by Minnesota, and Barczewski was able to hold down the fort and make a good save.
You're completely right there. You know, Michigan really controlling a lot of the offensive possessions so far going on here. Just really not being able to find the back of the net, but they are putting on a lot of shooting opportunities. They have 8 shots on goal so far here in this first period to 5 of Minnesota, but they're not able to convert. And that was kind of one of the things that happened last night, where Michigan had offensive possessions, offensive opportunities, but they weren't able to convert. So what does Michigan need to do, you know, in the next, at least for the next 12 minutes, 8 minutes here of the rest of the period, to maybe get some better looks on offense, not just getting looks in general?
Yeah, I think it really establishing the offensive zone, get that puck moving, make the defenders move, cover the entire length of the ice. And they've had open opportunities in the slot, continue to do that, apply the forecheck, and take advantage of some turnovers and some mistakes. Michigan's had a couple of opportunities off of turnovers. We had Nasr right up and close after a poke check turnover. So I think really just taking advantage of that, as well as moving the puck, can get some Michigan some good opportunities and to hopefully put one behind it close here in this first period.
As we are back underway here, first period, 8:57 left here in the period. Face off in the Michigan zone as TJ Hughes loses to Moore. Quick shot there by Koster. That goes wide. Another shot by number 77, Rhett Pitlick. And that goes wide and out of play. 8:48 left here in the first period.
Yeah, 2 deep shot opportunities. The first one had some bodies in front, and Barczewski was able to see and make the save, and then another one near the boards was able to block her out of bounds into the netting.
Another face-off here. Uncertain of who won the face-off, and now the Wolverines come up with it. Jacob Truscott able to get it to Seamus Casey, who gets it back to Truscott. Moldenhauer moving in right side. Moldenhauer dumps it in for LaPointe. That goes out of the zone. Wolverines sending it back in to the Gopher zone, and Minnesota's able to retreat the puck here. Snuggerud to Pinanimi. Back to Snuggerud. Minnesota trying to make something happen here, but finally gets stopped by Duke to Moldenhauer. Moldenhauer sending it just back into the Minnesota zone, and Michigan makes a full line change. Marshall Warren retreats for the puck for the Wolverines to Truscott, who tries to get it to McGroarty, and that flies out of play. 7:51 left here in the first period.
The game settled down. Looks like a student got another puck this time. Second, a lot of pucks going into the crowd here this evening, I should say. But things have settled down a little bit. Neither team has really been able to establish since that mid-period cleanup of the ice.
Jackson Nelson wins another faceoff for the Golden Gophers. Minnesota has it in its own zone. Finally trying to make something happen. 2-on-1 opportunity here. Brodzinski looking for somebody. Trying to find Nevers. And he cannot. Nice defensive play there by the Wolverines. But Brodzinski is able to tip it for just a second. And Minnesota back on offense. Nevers, quick shot. That's saved by Barczewski right into his chest. Jake Barczewski, great save there.
Yeah, great save there. Minnesota with a couple chances there. Rucker McGroarty with a great poke on the first opportunity, but then Michigan just dumped it down defensively, and Minnesota right away getting back on the offensive pressure and forcing Barczewski to make another save. 8-7 now in the shots. Minnesota start to up the pressure a little bit here. Can they win an offensive zone faceoff and really set their offense up as they do win the faceoff?
Jimmy Clark wins the faceoff there. Fish has it for a second. Nasr comes up with it. Nasr flying right side. He gets tripped up. Goes down on the ice. No call, though. Seamus Casey trying to maintain possession here for the Wolverines. Casey, nice stick work. Moving it right side, quick shot. And Shifsky just misses a wide open net. Garrett Shifsky had a one-timer opportunity and could not convert. Moldenhauer trying to keep possession here for the Wolverines. Shifsky has it right side as he gets checked along the boards. Quick shot there by Nasr. Another shot opportunity. Moldenhauer one more time. Wolverines cannot convert. As now, Wolverines have it yet again. Moldenhauer to Casey. Trying to get it inside, and he cannot once again. Nasr. Seamus Casey. To Moldenhauer, and he scores!
What a sequence there by Michigan. They held the puck in the zone. A lot of back and forth. They really made close move back and forth through his crease. He made a couple of really good saves. The crease was congested. Moldenhauer had a couple whacks at it. And then a great pass.
Nick Moldenhauer, the freshman, adding to his season with another goal, making it 1-0, 6:20 left here in the first period. Michigan piling on the shot opportunities. 4 shots on goal right there on that one offensive possession. And Nick Moldenhauer moving in left side scores. 6:20 left here in the first period. As we're back underway now, Philip LaPointe. Moldenhauer stays in there, trying to get the puck for the Wolverines, and he is offside. 6:01 left here in the first period. Peter, take me back through that goal. What did Michigan do so well, piling it on the offensive zone and finally able to convert?
It was exactly that. They were piling it on. They were not letting Minnesota reset defensively, chance after chance. And Moldenhauer with that original shot, and then it ended up being Casey with the assist. Frank Nasr is actually the goal scorer to number 9 to 91. We misread that, but Nasr with the goal scorer on a great feed from Seamus Casey. Great job by the Wolverines to get on the board.
Nick Moldenhauer
Never
actually
mind.
was the goal scorer, so his second of the season. Seamus Casey, though, you are correct, Peter, with the assist. As the Wolverines retreat for the puck, Warren can't get the puck out of the zone. Strobel trying to get the puck for himself for the Golden Gophers. Back to Koster, top of the zone, left side. Koster sending it all the way into Moore. Moore weaving his way, looking for a teammate. He tries to get back to Moore. Moore, one shot. That gets blocked by Barczewski. And Michigan tries to get it out, but they cannot. Renzel sending it all the way in. He misses wide right. So we have the puck behind Barczewski in goal here. And finally, Michigan is able to get the puck out of play and out of the zone all the way down. It will be an icing call, though. 4:52 left here in the first period.
Yeah, so they announced Moldenhauer as the goal scorer. Our stat sheet still has Nasr being credited, so we will clear that up once we find out exactly who did score it. Nonetheless, I don't think anyone in this building cares. That's a big-time goal for Michigan to be up 1-0 with 4:52 remaining in the first period.
Michigan still leading in shots 12-8. They did lead through the first 2 periods last night against the Golden Gophers, though, so beware of that. Estapa wins the faceoff for the Wolverines, as Rowe sends it all the way in to the Golden Gopher zone. Duke is able to check Pinanimi for a second, but Moore has it going in right side. Moore tries to get around Tyler Duke and cannot. Moore gets the puck right behind Barczewski, looking for where he wants to go with it. He sent it to Rudd. Rudd tries to get it inside, but he misses left. Rudd has it once again, top left side. Gets it to Thomas. Thomas tries to send it in. He misses left. And Seamus Casey is able to maintain control of the puck for just a second. It's to Dylan Duke. Finally sits down to Gavin Brindley near the Wolverine bench. 3:58 left here in the first period as both teams make a full line change once again. Still some puck fighting going on. Wolverines, though, able to control the puck. Ernest moves in right side to Shifsky. Ernest could not see the puck that was right behind him, and he gives it away. Gophers sending it inside behind the goaltender yet again. Luca Fantilli, though, nice job getting back. Ernest just pokes it right behind Koster, and he heads to the bench. 3:15 left here in the first period. Wolverines still lead 1-0. And we get a whistle. Believe they're going to call offsides here. 3:09 left in the first period.
I think offsides is the call. It's going to be a face-off outside the blue line to our right in front of this giant pillar in our way. But things have settled down a little bit since that Michigan goal. Can either team build a little momentum with 3:09 to go in the first period?
TJ Hughes wins the faceoff. Tyler Duke, though, whiffs on the puck, and he gives it away. TJ Hughes gets it right back, though. Moldenhauer once again tries to go from right side to left side and loses control of the puck. Minnesota has numbers now. Renzel to Clark. Clark, though, gets stopped by Moldenhauer, who tries to kick it away. He gets it taken away. TJ Hughes. Hughes, one-on-one opportunity. Tries to move inside, and he gets it taken away from him by number 5, Sam Renzel, who gets checked. Seamus Casey, right side. Moves all the way in. Quick shot, and he whiffs. That's TJ Hughes whiffed on the shot. And finally, Minnesota just sends it all the way into the Wolverine zone. They're going to call icing here. 2:18 left as Michigan will get a face-off in the Golden Gopher zone.
And Michigan had a really good opportunity right here in front of Close, and he made a really good glove save as the puck just found its way right into the slot. And you have McGroarty, who got the puck in the slot, had a really good backhander opportunity, just couldn't get it by. But Michigan's finding those openings in the slot, and they've been putting pressure.
Clark wins the faceoff for the Gophers, as Lamb just sends it all the way into the Wolverine zone so they can make a line change. Brindley weaving his way through the defense. He moves in left side, one shot. That goes way high and wide, out of play, hitting the net behind the goal. 2 minutes left in the first period. We'll get another faceoff.
Yeah, I think if you're Michigan, you really like how you've been playing here since that goal. And I think overall this period, they've really controlled the flow of this game. And that's what you want to see coming off of yesterday and coming off the 3 consecutive losses. A good showing so far, 18 minutes into this hockey game.
Frank Nasr trying to win the faceoff, and he technically does until Shifsky goes down on the ice. Minnesota has 1:50 left here in the first period. Jackson Nelson moving all the way in. He gets stopped by Marshall Warren. Tyler Duke now has it for the Wolverines. Back to Shifsky. Shifty moving in left side. He's going up the boards, and that puck hits the skate of the referee, and it stops at his tracks. Jackson Nelson moving in left side now. He's trying to get it to one of his teammates, and he cannot. Nice stick work there by Frank Nasr. Nasr sending it all the way in to the goaltender, Close, and Close is able to glove it, sending it to his teammate. Moore trying to keep control of the puck, and he finally sends it in for the Gophers to the Michigan zone. 1:10 left here in the first period. McGroarty has it now for the Wolverines to Truscott. Truscott to Brindley, who just pokes it in, and he tries to pass it to himself. Brindley for Truscott. Truscott whiffs on the one-timer. Back to Brindley, who has it left side. Brindley loses control of it for just a second. Rucker McGroarty, one-timer, and that goes off Close's glove. Dylan Duke fighting with Sinzel. McGroarty loses control of the puck. 34 seconds left, and Truscott's forced to retreat for it all the way back in his zone. 29 seconds left here in the first period. LaPointe now sends it all the way in left side. Nelson to Clark, moving in for the Golden Gophers. Clark tries to shoot. That gets tipped by Seamus Casey. Snuggerud tries another shot. That gets blocked by Jake Barczewski. And Moldenhauer just tries to send it all the way into the Minnesota zone. 5 seconds left. 4, 3, 2, 1. And that will do it here in the first period. Wolverines 1, Minnesota 0, as Michigan leads after the first period.
Yeah, I think that was a really good period for the Wolverines. Defensively, they didn't give up too much. Offensively, they applied the pressure throughout the period, and to be able to get that goal, still looks like it's Nasr getting credit on our score sheet. So I believe he was the goal scorer on a really good pass from Seamus Casey across the slot. And to be up 1-0 is a really good position. And today being this weekend has been celebrating. Well, first of all, we have Veterans Day too. So happy Veterans Day to all our veterans out there. Hockey's team also celebrating the 1998 National Championship, so we get a little ceremony coming up soon. So festive day today, and trying to come through with the win, and that's a really good start 20 minutes in.
They are saying it was Frank Nasr on our stat sheet. I still believe it was Moldenhauer from what I had seen, and they did call it in the scoreboard that it was Nick Moldenhauer. So we will say that it's Nick Moldenhauer, the freshman, with his second goal of the season until we are told otherwise.
Yep, they just adjusted it. He's
perfect.
Our goal scorer,
so Nick Moldenhauer's second goal of the season to go up 1-0. But Wolverines did lead in the first and second period last night against the Golden Gophers, and they ultimately did give up 2 goals in the third period. So if you think this game is over, I will stop you in your tracks right now. This is definitely going to be a feisty game between both of these teams. Peter, Michigan 14 shots, Minnesota 9. What is Michigan doing so well defensively right now to prevent Minnesota from scoring?
I think they're preventing Minnesota from getting really good opportunities in the slot, keeping them to the outside, and not giving up much in the ways of scoring chances. And I think they're just applying the pressure, using their sticks, getting physical. I think just that combination has really been important for Michigan, and has provided them with the opportunity to not give up many difficult opportunities on Barczewski, and then Barczewski taking care of the saves when he needs to, and that's that critical aspect of the defense and goaltender working together to get a scoreless 20 minutes defensively.
completely right about that. I think Michigan just needs to trust its defense. Barczewski had a rough night last night, giving up 4 goals, including those 2 in the third period.
Yep.
I think with the defense trapping Minnesota, letting them get into the offensive zone, and then just swarming to the puck and not letting the puck even get to Barczewski is the recipe for success. Because Barczewski has proven that time and time again, he can make those necessary saves and he needs to. But he's not going to be an Eric Portillo. He's not going to be the guy that's going to be able to, have put out shutout after shutout on these top Big Ten teams. So you're going to need to score offensively, but also going to help him a little bit defensively too. Just give him all the necessary things that he needs for some success. What does Minnesota need to do going forward in the second and third period now, kind of switching gears a little bit? What do they need to do to try to open up the scoring here for themselves?
I think they need to use their speed a little bit. We saw it a couple times where they utilized their speed on the outside. They had a good wraparound early in the game, and then a couple of chances forcing turnovers in the neutral zone, then using their speed to break out. I think that's what they need to do, utilize the transition and their speed to just get good opportunities, make Barczewski make more difficult saves, and look for rebound opportunities, get pucks to the net, and make things happen. As we got the 98 team posing with their championship trophy, which is really cool to see. But yeah, I think that's the focus for Minnesota. They're still in a really good spot themselves, only down 1, plenty of hockey to go.
You're completely right about that, Peter. Pushing gears now a little bit to a different sport. Michigan beating Penn State today in football. I think we'd be remiss if we didn't mention that. Wolverines defeating the number 9 team in the country, 24. Am I correct about that?
24-15.
24-15. That was the final score. What did Michigan do in the football team that looked so good today?
I think their ability to adjust was really, I really found that very interesting. I think that was very big for the Wolverines, especially with everything going on outside. We don't need to talk about that. Everyone knows what's going on outside this program. But for them to adjust, those first 2 series, as they tried to drop back pass with McCarthy, it did not work, and they just adjusted and turned to the run game, a run game that they've leaned on all year and they've trusted all year, and it has not been as successful as it's been in the years past, but they haven't needed it to be as successful this year. But for the Michigan run game to dominate, for Michigan to not have to throw the ball once in the second half, utilizing both Corum and Donovan Edwards along with J.J. McCarthy's legs, I think that was really impressive. And defensively, they were able to dominate from, made Drew Allard's life miserable. And I think that was a really impressive win, silencing a lot of critics saying that Michigan has not faced any good teams. To go into Happy Valley on the road and get a big-time win, number 999 in Michigan football. Next week you go for 1,000 against Maryland, and then you have the game in 2 weeks. Michigan's in a really good opportunity. They play the way they've been playing. We'll see if we'll get Harbaugh back, depending on how all that legal stuff goes. But this Michigan team is hungry and they're poised, and I think the sky's the limit for this football team.
I completely agree. I think Michigan went back to fundamental football, what they've done so well in the previous years, running the ball and defense. Sharon Moore trusted his defense every single time. He wasn't afraid. That's why he was willing to run the ball so much, because he knew, number 1, the run game started to really work, and number 2, he knew that Drew Aller, as good as he is, as much potential as he has, and I know he'll be a very good quarterback for Penn State next year.
He's only like 19 years old.
He's a freshman for them.
He's going to grow.
At this exact moment, you knew that you could beat Drew Aller and their offense. You knew your defense was so much better than the Penn State offense, and I really did appreciate them just running out that clock. The game lasted, I believe, 2 hours and like 45 minutes. It was a very quick game. Michigan, once they took the lead, recognized we can just run the ball every single time and trust our defense, and we're going to come out of here successful. And I really was impressed with what Michigan could do in the run game and not have to utilize the pass game. And in turn, they were able to keep their playbook pretty close as well. Michigan has barely used many plays this year in football, and being able to run the ball every single play, you've still kept all those plays in your back pocket for the next 2, 3, maybe 4 weeks of the football season. Thank you so much, Peter. Peter's going to come back here in the third period.
Yeah, it was a great pleasure in this first period.
A changing of the tide here, as my colleague Kendall Spencer will do play-by-play commentary in the second period. I will be doing color, and finally Kendall and Peter will be doing the third period together as the Wolverines do lead 1-0 here in the first intermission. As I finally am able to welcome in my friend Kendall Spencer. Kendall, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm going to allow you to kind of take over right here doing all the play-by-play duty, so take it away.
Well, there's nobody on the ice right now, Jake, so I'm not quite exactly sure how I'm supposed to call play-by-play. But I can talk a little bit about last night, especially, since I was there. It was a little hard for me to see what was going on in that first period, but last night the Wolverines had the momentum going into these. Looked like they're going to have the momentum going into the first intermission. They let Minnesota get a sneaker in right before the first period was over. Same thing happened with the third. It looked like they had all the momentum, and Minnesota was just able to put one past Barchevsky. Some really awkward play calls, some goals in last night's game. So I would love to be excited about this lead at intermission, but I don't really know how secure it might be.
Michigan looked pretty dominant there in the first period. They were controlling the ice very well. They were keeping the puck in Minnesota's zone. What does Michigan need to do, continuing on in the second and third period, to apply that pressure and kind of avoid what happened last night, so to speak?
Yeah, absolutely. Same thing as last night. Wolverines just kind of dominating, not really letting Minnesota getting anything set up at all. Unfortunately, Minnesota is the type of team that doesn't need to set things up. They're able to convert on breakaway chances, on Michigan mistakes, on little scraps behind the net. Minnesota is a team that can really score from anywhere. So while you are encouraged by what you've seen from the Wolverines so far, that was what they were doing last night. So what they really have to do is make sure that they're closing up any gaps between themselves and Minnesota players, especially when we're getting two plays right in front of the net. Barchevsky is making great saves, but unfortunately 2 of the goals last night came up on these weird little moments where nobody was quite sure where their puck was, and it was sitting alone in front of the net. Michigan needs to really make sure that can't get confused about where the puck is at any point in today's game, because when you do that, stuff like last night happens, and all of a sudden the momentum you had is gone, or all of a sudden it's a tie game when you had a 3-1 lead.
Completely agree with that. On the flip side of things, Michigan defensively looked very good as well. Able to trap the Minnesota defenders, not really giving Barchevsky too many saves he had to make that were difficult saves. What does Michigan need to do defensively going into the second and third period to, really keep that pressure up and just keep the puck as much as possible out of its defensive zone?
Absolutely. So when the Wolverines have given the Golden Gophers 2 opportunities by playing really good keep away in the offensive zone, I'd like to see them really strengthen up their neutral zone game by not letting Minnesota even get into your offensive zone. That's just taking an immense amount of pressure off your defense. So really making sure that the forwards are back checking, getting their sticks out, really making the neutral zone, not just kind of a give and go place, but a place where they're putting pressure on and not just leaving their defense out to dry, I think could be huge for them.
Well, we have just about 3 minutes left here in intermission before we get both teams back on the ice. Kendall Spencer, my name is Jake Singer, as we will have you here for the second and third period of Michigan hockey. Kendall, if we want to shift gears a little bit, Peter and I just talked about Michigan football. How about we talk about some Michigan basketball? Michigan basketball up, 2 wins, 0 losses this season, most recently coming off of 2 dominant wins, I should say, against UNC Asheville and Youngstown State. Michigan goes and plays St. John's on Monday in Madison Square Garden. We will have a crew for you for WCBN. Kendall, is there one player on this Michigan basketball team that you're just excited to see this season?
Oh, it's like you want me to say it. I am not the biggest basketball guy in this club, at least not men's basketball. I keep up with the women's team pretty closely. But you know what? Because he's just so beloved in our club, and everyone really wants him to be successful, I am going to go with Terrence Williams II. This is kind of just because he is a fan favorite amongst WCBN Sports members, but also I've heard from you and I've heard from a couple other people that he really has improved this season. I think if he has the chance to become an impact player, it'll mean a lot to some people we both know. So I'm going to go with Terrence Williams.
I agree. At 15 points. Last night, 15 points. On Tuesday, Terrence Williams changing his entire shot form. So I guess that's something maybe you were more familiar with. How's the women's team doing this year? What do you really like to see out of them?
Yeah, I do not remember the record off the top of my head, but the women's
2-0 themselves.
2-0, yes. The women's team has just the past couple seasons have been weird, as there's just been sort of changing of the guard. They've been losing a lot of their good and older players. After freshman year, or 2 years ago, sorry, I'm a junior, that was Nasr Hillman. And they've always played well as a team. They don't really have that superstar, at least they did last year. I would like to see somebody really step up, whether it maybe be a Layla Felia or, whomever feels like they have the confidence to kind of be that star in the way that Nasr Hillman was, because last year there were moments where you could just tell they were playing well as a team, but they needed somebody to step up. They needed that leadership presence, and I think hopefully we'll start to see that kind of take shape. Somebody will sort of rise above and be that leader that the women's team kind of needs.
Couldn't have said it better myself. We're just about to get underway here in the second period between Michigan and Minnesota. Wolverines still lead 1-0. They also lead in the shot category, 14-9. Michigan's sole goal coming off of the stick of freshman Nick Moldenhauer, assisted by Seamus Casey. Kendall, now is your time. Take it away.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We'll start with the face-off at center ice. As is custom, we've got Brindley for the Wolverines and Nelson for the Golden Gophers. Michigan comes away with it. That passes back to Duke into the defensive zone to get things set up. He'll ring one around the boards. We're going to switch places really quick. So I'm going to hand this headset off to... Apologies, as this is Yost Ice Arena, and anyone who's ever done a game is one to complain about our view. So we had to switch spots a little bit. But now we're back in action as Michigan tries to get something set up. And the puck goes over the boards, into the stands, and the children of Yost will harass and harass the poor audience member who caught it until he lifts it up, which he does. Nasr and Moore on the face-off. Nasr wins it. That's going to go back to the right-hand corner. Warren hits it off the backboards, collected by the Golden Gophers before Truscott gets a stick back on it. Ernest up to Truscott at the top of the point, across the ice to Shifsky. Shifsky to Warren. His shot is blocked by Kester. Golden Gophers try to get the puck out, just can't. Long shot from Warren is deflected in front. Ernest keeps it in the offensive zone. Giving the puck away for the Golden Gophers. Shot on net by Shifsky. Warren gets the rebound, puts one on, but bounces off the left-hand post. Nasr recovers it past Shifsky right in front. Good shot, second chance. Nothing coming from that tight play by Close in net. Minnesota looks to break out as Pitlick passes it off to Moore, but Moore can't get it into his own offensive zone, taken away by Moldenhauer. Hughes, long shot into the torso of Close, and we'll get a whistle.
I really like what Michigan is doing, consistently applying the pressure offensively. They are getting second, third chance opportunities. We're really seeing guys moving in different directions too. So Wolverines are shooting the puck from the right side, from the left side, right on point there against Close. And you're really seeing Michigan trying to move around and see if one of their shots can go in the net.
They're absolutely a dominant presence in this offensive zone, as there's a bit too much on that pass from McGroarty to Fantilli. Can't keep it in. They'll have to recollect and head back into the offensive zone. Pass across the ice for Duke the Elder. Back to Fantilli. The blue line. Looking for Duke in front of the net, but it's picked off by the Golden Gophers. They're streaming up the ice now. Lamb loses it. McGroarty to Fantilli. Back to McGroarty. Long pass just barely out of Brindley's reach. And that is going to be an ice, though I don't think it should have been.
Yeah, Wolverines fans are not happy about that. Gavin Brindley even pushes the referee a little bit, not happy, as he lost control of the puck, tried to race down there too, and they called it icing before he had an opportunity to make a play on it. So it'll be an icing, and it'll be a face-off in the Wolverines' defensive zone.
Seemed like Brindley was right there. Face-off in Michigan zone, won by the Wolverines. Duke pass to McGroarty, long shot from the right-hand side of the blue line. No good. Take this moment to mention that the Golden Gophers are shooting on the right side, Wolverines on the left. Minnesota can't get anything set up. LaPointe streaming up the ice. It passes back to Hughes, to Miles. Slap shot from Duke, no good. Wolverines maintain possession though. Hughes to LaPointe. Moldenhauer back up to Duke at the blue line, who can't keep it in. Hughes across to LaPointe. LaPointe will just clear that one in close. Looks like he's going to play it, thinks better of it, leaves it for Chesley, who accidentally passes it right in front of the net to Marcus Stappa, who launches one a mile high. Unfortunately, not able to convert on that excellent opportunity on the Golden Gopher miscue. Golden Gophers look to regroup. Pass into Brzezinski's skates. Lose track of it, battling for it in the neutral zone before it seems like Truscott's going to come away with it, though he's going to go all the way back behind his own goal line to do so. And now there's a bit of a mix-up, and it's going to be Nelson that comes away with it. His shot on net, no good. Rebound collected by Draper. Pass it up to ice to Stappa. Stappa loses his stick. Rinzel taking it, but Draper gets the puck back. Golden Gophers trying to break out of the neutral zone. Wolverines will take a line change, doesn't seem to matter. Before a pass up the ice to Snuggerud, long shot, gonna sail just over the goal. Fighting for it in the near corner. Snuggerud comes away with it, passes it across the ice to Rinzel, and a great save made by Barchevsky. Had to get all the way in the splits to stop Rinzel on that one.
Fantastic save there by Barchevsky. That was a wide open net opportunity there for Minnesota. Barchevsky just lunges out, able to make a fantastic save with his glove.
Golden Gopher lose track of it in the neutral zone. Michigan can't get anything set up. Sailing will puck over the head of the Wolverines. Not going to be called for an ice. As Wolverines come away with it. Nasr pass up to Duke. Duke works through a couple Gophers. Shot off of closest pads. Snuggerud gets the rebound. He sends up to Pitlick, who gets some pressure from Brindley and loses control of the puck. It's back in the Wolverine zone. Close will play it right to McGroarty, and there was a wide open net and nobody in front of it, as there was a Golden Gopher defender playing defense, but it's their turn on the offensive as the shot is deflected by Barchevsky. Clark maintains possession to Chesley, who'll launch it right into the chest of Barchevsky.
Wow, a lot to unpack there, Kendall. First of all, Jim Harbaugh now in the building, as you might be able to hear behind us that the fans are cheering for him in the building. Not to mention, though, is now there. The football team actually is all there. Sharon Moore is being shown. Zach Zitter is being shown on the scoreboard. But in order to talk about the hockey game right now, Michigan having a lot of opportunities there. Golden Gophers also having a lot of opportunities. It's really becoming a goaltender battle. Michigan just not being able to capitalize there, and neither the Golden Gophers are, as both teams are going back and forth on each possession.
The true test is going to be which team can slow things down once they get into the offensive zone and not just do another breakaway. Wolverines can't manage to control it through the neutral zone, and you might not be able to hear me over the cheers for Jim Harbaugh, who they just showed on the Jumbotron. Don't worry, because there's nothing going on in the game. They're just batting it around through the offensive zone.
Michigan continually trying to pile it on, really doing a great job of trapping the Minnesota defenders as they enter into the zone, but we are going to get a whistle as Jacob Truscott for cross-checking. So Minnesota will have the first power play of the game today. Both teams did not have a power play in the first period. Golden Gophers prime opportunity here to try to get tied 1-1.
Yesterday, the Wolverines had a 5-minute penalty kill in which they didn't let up anything. We'll see if we can get the same success today, as a long shot from Snuggerud is batted away by Barchevsky. A little back and forth by the Gophers. That's to Rinzel at the top of the blue line. Brzezinski back to Rinzel, thinks about the slap shot, doesn't take it. Long shot collected by Pitlick in front of the Pitlick in front of the net. That is not an easy name to say. Snuggerud's shot deflected by a Wolverine defender. They'll get out of the zone and have to start over.
Yeah, Gavin Brindley completely laid out for that one, stopping a potential scoring opportunity there for Minnesota.
Rinzel at the top of the blue line across the ice to the left side to Snuggerud. Brindley in front of him, Pitlick back to Snuggerud. Brzezinski on the right-hand side, another great defensive play. That one was by Duke this time, as Brindley will clear the puck.
Yeah, Tyler Duke just essentially copying what Gavin Brindley just did. His Michigan defensemen are completely laying their bodies out on the line trying to stop the Minnesota attack and keeping this game 1-0.
Kester brings it into the zone, loses control of it quickly. That's in the hands of Ernest. He can't get it out. Lamb collects it on the right side. Passes it to Moore. Deflected off of Warren's stick, and his clearing attempt will hit a man, I think, in the stands.
Luckily, they are okay, though.
A child got it. I hope the child is not the one that was hit. I hope that kid profited off of somebody else's misfortune.
.42 seconds left here on the power play. Michigan doing a great job of stopping it.
Batted out of midair by Shifsky out of the zone. Nice little heads-up baseball play. Long pass from Kester. Middlestad's all alone, but Fantilli manages to sneak up behind him, and he can't even get a shot off. Scrappy play from Estapa, gets the puck out of the zone, and Minnesota will have to regroup, hoping to get something going in the last 15 seconds of this power play, but Moore loses control of the puck, and they still haven't gotten back in. Kester brings the puck in now, dumps it ahead for Moore behind the net. There's nobody near him, and that's going to be right to Duke, as that'll end the Minnesota power play. Truss got out of the box, and unfortunately Draper couldn't stay out of the zone. That'll be an offsides.
Fantastic kill there by the Wolverines. They were constantly swarming the puck. They were getting the puck out of the zone as fast as possible, and you really didn't see many true scoring opportunities there for Minnesota, as the Wolverines did a great job of swarming to the puck, controlling the puck, and just getting it out as fast as possible.
Absolutely encouraging sight for the Wolverines. Once again, back in the neutral zone. That'll be Casey trying to find McGroarty. We'll have to get it from 3 different Minnesota defenders, and that's going to be offsides. Which it was, now that I think about it. He was just in there. 11:35 remaining in this second period. Shots are 21-13. Face off at center ice this time. Brindley versus Nelson. Golden Gophers win it. They'll have to go back by their goalie to pick that up. Chesley to Brzezinski up ahead. Batted back into the Gophers defensive zone. Brzezinski takes it out. Pass attempt to Nevers. Loses it. Will send it up for Truscott to scrap with Brzezinski over it. Wolverines managed to get it out. Now looking to set something up. Brindley can't win the foot race. It's back in the neutral zone. Brzezinski working on Casey, who's trying to get the puck out. Pass intercepted by Nelson. He's got Nevers on the right-hand side. He'll take the shot himself, gloved easily by Barczewski.
Now we got some extracurricular activities going on right in front of Barczewski, but fantastic job once again for Chesky, just gloving that one and preventing Minnesota from doing anything offensively. Puck has really stayed between the blue lines tonight in the neutral zone, aside from the Wolverines having a lot of offensive pressure. Really haven't seen Minnesota control the puck a ton in the Michigan zone.
Whichever team managed to set up a play might be the one that comes out of this game successful. Is a long shot from Rinzel. This is wide right. Gophers maintain possessions. Back up to Rinzel at the blue line. He'll knock it behind the boards, collected by Warren. Ernest passes back to Warren, up to Draper. Or Fantilli, not Draper, my mistake. Warren Ernest will tip it into the Gopher zone, and that's going to be an icing call. We'll bring it back down.
Yeah, with 10:22 left here in the second period, Michigan is trying to get out of this period with the lead. You've seen them playing a little bit more conservatively this period. They're really just trying to tip the puck into the Golden Gopher zone and trying to keep the puck out of their own zone. So really look to see them trying to be a little more aggressive, I should say, if they get a few more scoring opportunities.
Kester at the top of the blue line. He's trading places with Middlestat. He'll pass it to Middlestat. Long shot from the left-hand side, and the save is made by Barchevsky, and the disagreement comes in from everyone else.
Ernest just completely took the Golden Gopher forward, trying to see exactly who that is. It's number 13, Garrett Pinanimi. Completely got toppled over there by Ernest, and Pinanimi is going to head to the penalty box.
Both teams have, such a long history that it's not surprising at all that things should get a little scrappy, and that'll send Pinonimi and Ernest both to the box.
Wolverines here with their first power play opportunity of the night. Wolverines already have been controlling the puck in the offensive zone for most of the night with, equal strength. So now with obviously a 5-on-4 chance, I really look to see Michigan just completely starting to fire off shots there on close.
That is roughing for Ernest and a slash for Pinanimi. Gophers get possession first. Middlestat taking it up the ice. Getting bodied by Truscott in the near corner. Brindley and Casey trying to get it past Snuggerud. Casey finds McGroarty, leaves it for Brindley. Brindley takes it up, enters the offensive zone himself. He's got Casey and Truscott up by the point, but he'll pass it across the ice to McGroarty. Truscott across to Casey. Back for Brindley. Brindley taking a slap shot right into the chest to Close. We'll get a whistle as we officially pass the halfway point of both this game and the second period.
They keep showing on the scoreboard. Michigan winning its 999th victory all-time in football today, defeating Penn State 24-15. Michigan has the opportunity to win its 1,000th game next weekend at Maryland, and we will have a call. I'll be on that call in College Park going back home.
I'll be at work.
Well, maybe you'll be able to have the privilege of calling the Big Ten Championship game in Indianapolis.
I was there last year. I know this is a hockey broadcast, but I'm going to talk about this anyway. It was phenomenal. Lucas Oil was incredible. I don't plan on being a broadcaster full time, but the experience of being up in an NFL press box, unmatched. Hoping soon to repeat the same in an NHL box, depending on how far the Wolverines make it in the playoffs this year.
And now Yost is really just giving us an opportunity to talk about football here as they keep showing them.
They're just kind of awkwardly packed in.
They are in the corner.
Awkwardly packed into the corner of Yost. They're in backpacks.
Well, they just probably got off the bus.
Literally just got off the bus.
Just got off the bus for Penn State.
Got off the bus, shoved into the Yost corner. I just saw Michigan's punter. I am his TA.
Tommy Doman. Shout out 6th floor South Quad.
Wolverines win the face-off. Truscott has it on the left-hand side. Pass meant for Hughes, picked off by Chesley. Pitlick up to Nelson. Nelson, long shot, wide and high and in the net. So, comedy of errors on that one.
59 seconds left also on the 4-on-4 opportunity here with both teams.
Matching minors, though for different infractions. Like I mentioned, I think it was apparently a initial slash by Pinanimi that Ernest took issue with and ended up in the box with him for roughing. Imagine if they had to share the same penalty box. That would be funny.
That would be hilarious. It would be a new rule change in college hockey.
Wolverines have it in the offensive zone. Shifsky puts the moves on Pitlick to Nasr, back to Duke. Warren loses control of it. Pitlick streaming up the ice. He's got Lamb on the right side, passes Chesley in the middle. Diving play by Duke. He lays out for that one, prevents the cross-ice pass. Wolverines coming back. Nasr's pass just barely misses the outstretched stick of Warren. And it's Pitlick returning the other way. One more high-speed moment. His pass across to Lamb forces him to turn around and regroup. Fantilli collects it down by the boards.
Great job by Duke turning defense into offense, just missing Warren there, but Wolverines had a wide open opportunity. Nice job laying out for that one.
Nasr pass to Casey. He'll skate around with it for a bit. Tried to find Nasr right in front of the net, but a bit of miscommunication there. Nasr wasn't ready for it. It's Nelson coming up the right-hand side. He'll shoot it into the pads of Barczewski. He loses it. Luckily, it's batted away by the Wolverines, and the penalties have both come to an end, and Ernestie's going to take it all the way himself. Puck gets lost, but unfortunately Ernestine knocked the net off, and we'll get a whistle.
Yeah, Ernestine came in flying right side, trying to go backhand on close, and he just crashed into the net, took it off its post. We have a stoppage of play here, 7:55 left in the second period. But you're really seeing the Wolverines playing fantastic defense to this point. These guys are laying out their bodies. They're making blocks. They're decking guys into the boards and checking them. You just haven't seen much goal scoring tonight as the Wolverines just have a slim 1-0 lead.
Kind of the game you may have expected from yesterday before the Wolverines had that bit of offensive explosion, but they were playing dominant defense for the most part. And we've seen that again from them here, not letting the Gophers get anything really set up as the Gophers come away with possession. Pass up ice meant for Brzezinski. End up on a Wolverine stick. That's Truscott looking for McGroarty. Brzezinski finds that one though, and we'll send it all the way down for Barczewski to play it. He handed it off to Truscott. McGroarty to Duke, who loses track of it, but Truscott will collect it. A lot of back and forth in that neutral zone. As seemed like there was some confusion about where the puck was, and it is in the stands.
Both teams will also make a line change here. Just got to get as much fresh guys on the ice at once.
Rowe and Moore on the face-off. Won by Moore. Chesley back to Rudd. Battling for it on the near side. Long pass, long shot from Chesley, not a lot on it. Snatched by Barczewski.
I've really been impressed with how Barczewski has played tonight. 17 saves, 17 shots against right now. He's pitching a shutout here in Yost tonight, and coming off the game last night where he gave up those 2 late goals that, you know, I think he probably wish he had those goals back, and they probably could have had another win in the stat column. He's really come out tonight and has been very sound for the first period and a half of tonight's game.
We definitely see him making more of an effort to glove the puck or stop the play instead of kind of leaving them out, which happened to be the Wolverines' downfall in last night's game, as Gophers will be forced to regroup in the neutral zone. Moore and Truscott fighting for it. Moore comes away with it before getting some pressure by Draper. Snuggerud to Middlestat. Middlestat long shot is lost in front of the net, and that had an opportunity to be dangerous. Luckily, Golden Gophers don't come away with it. We'll be battling for it in the corner, comes out of the zone. Chesley up to Snuggerud. And the ref got knocked over, and I'm not sure what the call is, but he took a tumble. May have been an offsides.
Yeah, ref looks a little shaken up there. Luckily, he looks to be okay. But as I just mentioned Barczewski, I still feel like I have to mention that, you know, Justin Close has also had a fantastic game. Despite giving that 1 goal to Moldenhauer, he's had 22 saves tonight. He has been rock solid, and you're really just seeing a goaltender battle between these both teams.
I mean, we've seen 41 shots in this game, and only 1 goal as a dangerous opportunity. almost sneaks through the legs of Barchevsky. He's lying down for it. And the Wolverines avoid a disaster after we just talked about heads-up goaltending.
Yeah, that's a move you might see in the NHL at times. Goaltender fully laid out, just trying to prevent the puck from going past him. Barchevsky fully on his stomach, just trying to prevent that puck, really looking for it, swimming for it. And the Wolverine defenders, very heads-up job, just trying to check the guys around the goal back a little bit so it gives Barchevsky a little more space.
Minnesota comes away with possession, but can't get anything going. Wolverines knock it out. Have to start over. Up to Kurth. Once again, it's lost in the legs of Barchevsky. And once again, we're going to see some extracurriculars.
A lot of feistiness tonight between these both teams. Michigan, honestly, probably more so than Minnesota, just continuously attacking these Minnesota players, trying to check them a little bit, give them an extra nudge, maybe try to set them to the ice.
Wonder if the football team being here is bringing up any lingering aggression from that
since
game.
They've come into Yost and they've shown them on the video board, you've seen a little bit more chippiness going on.
It's lost in front of the net. It's Shifsky that comes away with it, though. Manages to take the pressure away from directly in the crease. Another shot deflected off of Barchevsky. Shifsky tries to get it out, but Middlestad's playing him tough. Collected in the near corner. Up to Luke Middlestad at the blue line. There's two Middlestads on the ice right now. So I felt like I should clarify on that one. It comes away back to Pino Niemi. Bounces off of Barchevsky's pads and up into the stands. Another whistle.
Really seeing Minnesota kind of coming out more aggressive. Once they started seeing Barchevsky get a little bit more under fire, have to go under a little bit more duress, and he's really fighting for his life right there in the goal, in the net. You're really seeing Minnesota recognize that, and they're just firing shots, right and left. And Barchevsky's had to make 6 saves there in the last 2 minutes.
Hoping to see the Wolverines get this puck fully out of the zone as Nelson and Istapa will take the face-off, won by the Wolverines. Though it's taken away from Warren by Nelson, had Brzezinski up potentially for a dangerous shot, but couldn't maintain control over the puck. Slips off his stick and doesn't get the chance. Brindley knocks it out past the blue line. Brzezinski regrouping. Tries to tip it past Brindley, as in good. Warren comes up. Brzezinski will collect it himself. He'll take the shot, deflect it up into the air off the pads of Barchevsky. Istapa is the one that comes away with it. Skating up the ice, working on Nevers. Pass looking for Brindley, played by Close. Nevers will ring it around the boards again. Over to Rinzel, collected by Duke. Casey doesn't manage to keep it in. Hughes will have to get out. Once again, knocked back out of the zone. Like I mentioned earlier, both teams struggling to get anything slowed down and set up. Just over 4 minutes remaining. Pitlick knocks it off the boards behind Barchevsky. Battling for it in the near corner. It's going to be Casey that comes away with it. Once again, just kind of a bit of a mess in that neutral zone. For Pitlick comes away with it, working on Fantilli up for Chesley across the ice. Deflected off the boards for Fish, and there's going to be a whistle as there is a potentially very dangerous play behind the net. Shot attempt by Snuggerud, no good, but the rebound could have been dangerous, as we'll finally get play stopped, and there's going to be a penalty on the Wolverines for a trip, as there was a flying Golden Gopher behind the net. Made it pretty obvious, even if the penalty may or may not be accurate. He was in the air, so
yeah,
they're going to call that
Philip
one.
Lapointe fully took one of the Minnesota Golden Gophers, and they both flipped in the air behind Barchevsky, as we're seeing the replay
That
here on
was
the
a
video
trip.
board.
Yeah, I'm going to be really honest with you guys. That was completely a trip, as Moore went airborne. Airbud Moore.
As Lapointe just took Moore and threw him in the air. Definitely a dangerous play, as you said, Kendall. It'll be a 2-minute minor, though, for Philip Lapointe with 3:36 left here in the second period. So Wolverines will be playing a man down for essentially the rest of the period.
Slap shot from Snuggerud on the top left side, deflected by Barchevsky. Gophers keep it in. Rinzel across the ice to Brzezinski. Back up to Rinzel. Slap shot. Deflected. Bodying each other in the corner for it. Ernest comes away with it. He'll clear the puck down the ice. Penalty kill will get a line change. Shots now in favor of the Golden Gophers. Bit of a momentum shift. Rinzel works past 2 defenders. Barczewski leaves up a juicy rebound. Luckily, it's a Wolverine there to collect it and send it back down the ice.
And Rinzel, fantastic stick move there, faking out Brindley. And he's able to weave his way all the way to the goaltender in Barczewski, but he misses just wide.
Kester drops off to Pitlick. Nelson and Brzezinski fighting for it on the near side. Battling in the corner. It's going to be Brzezinski that comes away with it. Pass across ice. Barely tipped by Duke. He's going to try and clear the puck. There's a whistle. They're going to say it didn't work. Bring the face-off back into the Wolverine zone.
Yeah, Snuggerud looks really confused. The puck was sitting right in front of him, and the Michigan defender really wondered why is he not touching this puck. So trying to send one to the Michigan bench area, just trying to send it out, and it'll still be a face-off in the Michigan zone.
Bit of a confusing play there. And the face-off will be on the left-hand face-off circle in the Wolverine zone. 2:23 remaining in the second period. It's Moore and Estapa. Nobody really comes away with it, but the Gophers get to the puck first. Kester has it. Over to Lamb. Lamb back to Kester. At center of the blue line, across to Middlestad on the left side. Kurth up to Kester. Kester across to Lamb. Lamb will shoot, and he scores! A absolute laser from number 17, Brody Lamb, ties this game 1-1 at 2:02 and 2:02 left in the second period.
Yeah, Brody Lamb just set up right on the kind of right side looking at Barczewski, and he had a really quick one-timer. That was a complete laser. You're right about that. And Brody Lamb scores his 6th goal of the season, the New York Rangers product, and he ties one at 1-1 as both teams are now back to even strength. 2:02 left here in the second period.
It's the kind of shot placement that the Wolverines have been desperately needing, and unfortunately we're going to get this game tied up as we're battling for it behind Barczewski. Casey trying to get the puck out of the zone, being played really tightly by Pinonimi. Manages to get it up and over to Ernest. He takes a tumble, but Shifsky manages to collect the puck. Looking for someone in front of the goal. Unfortunately, it's not going to be a Wolverine. Thomas to Chesley. Chesley long pass, going to come away with an icing. We'll take it back down. 1:20 to go.
Yeah, that kind of took a lot of the air out of the building after that Lamb goal here with 1:20 left. Game time 1-1. A lot of Michigan fans wondering, is this going to be a repeat from last night? And you're really seeing the Wolverines, facing a lot of pressure right now. Minnesota has been pressing them even in the deep in Michigan zone. And even here now in the Minnesota zone, Michigan really doesn't have much to work with.
Coming into this period, shots were heavily in favor of the Wolverines. Now they are +6 in favor of the Golden Gophers as Brindley is trying to avoid Thomas behind the ice. He finds Duke in front of the net, whiffs on the shot, but manages to collect it and pass to Brindley. Looks like Tyler Duke was thinking about a slap shot there. Said he'll take kind of a soft one. Trickles through about 3 or 4 Golden Gophers. We get a whistle, and that's going to send Chesley to the box with 52.3 seconds remaining. This penalty will carry over into the third unless the Wolverines manage to convert.
Yeah, Chesley got called for high sticking there as we saw Brindley try to just shoot the puck at the top of the zone, just trying to see a tip in. And you saw Chesley just try to high stick to prevent the Wolverines from getting a tip and goal here. So with 52 seconds left in the second period, Wolverines will play 4-on-5, and then they'll go in with a man advantage into the third period as well.
Estapa wins the face-off, but nobody's there to collect it. Nevers will send it down the ice. Having a bit of a foot race to try and get it from Truscott before he takes a tumble and gets laughed at. Not by me. Estapa cross ice pass to LaPointe. Just too much on it, can't get a shot off. Nasr has it, working past two defenders around Rinzel. Great shot, but just barely hits off of Close's glove. Moldenauer collects it. Truscott, the blue line, little chip pass to LaPointe, back up to Truscott, cross ice to Moldenauer. Behind the net, he has Estapa and a laser by Frank Nasr III gives Michigan the lead with 11.2 seconds. I just mentioned they needed better shot placement, and you could not have asked for a better one from Nasr.
Wolverines finally set something up. Michigan was just kind of grasping at shots. They were taking bad shots, kind of like what they did last night. And when you finally set your offense up in a way where you can get to the right spots, you got Estapa behind the net. You have Nasr left side, perfectly set up for that pass. All it takes is one good pass, and Nazar's able to rip a one-timer, and Michigan is going up 2-1, possibly going into the third period.
Pardon me, Close even was coming over to that side. He had a shoulder up, and Nasr still gets it over him. Excellent shot. As the buzzer will sound on the second period, Michigan goes into the second intermission with a 2-1 lead. Shots 29-25 in favor of the Golden Gophers. We've got 12 minutes before we see play again, and what a response by the Wolverines. I mean, like we mentioned before, Lamb had an absolutely beautiful shot, so well placed, and it just seemed like that was what the Wolverines were unable to do. They had these scoring opportunities, they just couldn't convert on them, often putting them just directly into the chest of Close, but Nasr read that play perfectly.
You saw Brody Lamb and Frank Nasr really actually have very similar plays. Both of them were positioned on the left side of the net. Both of them were looking for that pass, and both of them just kind of got lucky with the puck trickling to them. They actually said Frank Nasr scored unassisted, so it must have been tipped before it got to him, but both of them needed pucks to get to them through traffic, and you just saw that with Frank Nasr, when Marcus Alba was behind the net, it was able to still get to him despite having a lot of sticks in the way, and Nasr had a one-on-one opportunity. These guys are so skilled that usually when these guys have a one-on-one opportunity, able to load up the way they are with as much firepower as they have, Nazar's able to trickle that one on the top right corner of the net to go up 2-1.
Yeah, another underrated moment, because obviously the Nasr shot was beautiful. Excellent pass from Estapa. He found Nasr, pinpoint pass, perfectly set him up for that play, and the delivery on the laser shot puts the Wolverines up. The Wolverines were up going into the second intermission yesterday, however, so it is not entirely smooth sailing. What do you think the Wolverines need to do in the third period to prevent a kind of collapse that we saw yesterday from happening?
I really think it's going to be partially, obviously, keeping the puck in the Golden Gopher zone, which is kind of going to just be done unsaid. You saw that happening in the first period where Michigan, although they weren't getting a ton of shots off for possible shots on goal, they were just controlling the puck so much in the Golden Gopher zone that eventually you had an opportunity with Nick Moldenhauer. In the second period there, you really saw the Golden Gophers take that possession themselves, and they were starting to fire off shots, and that's why they were the ones that were able to get back in the scoring column before Michigan just scored there with 11 seconds left. So for Michigan, I really don't think they need to necessarily shoot the puck lights out and get as much shots up as they need to just space their offense out and look for the right shot. You're seeing if Michigan's able to set up their offense, they're able to get into the right spots and pass the puck around like they should, then that's when their goals are scored. You aren't really seeing much shots that are being flailed at the goal going in the back of the net. So for Michigan, it's going to be quality over quantity.
Absolutely, I 100% agree with you. We've seen play kind of live and die in the neutral zone today. Neither team really has had a chance to set anything up besides their power plays. Do you think this is a failure on the offense part, or is this just a sign of a really successful defensive effort today from both teams?
You know, I think it's definitely not about offense because both these teams are very stacked, right? Minnesota has proven they're one of the best teams in the country, the number 6 in the country right now. They have a loaded team, but so does Michigan. And Michigan, despite being very young, despite bringing a lot of transfers in from last year, they're finally at that point in the season where they're finding their way and they're understanding how each other work. They played a lot of games together, and they're starting to finally realize, figure out a rhythm. And that's why Michigan has been going up in the first 2 periods. They haven't been able to necessarily complete games, which is definitely a very different part of the game. But for right now, both teams are working simultaneously. So I really think it's about great defense. You're seeing for Michigan specifically, Tyler Duke, Seamus Casey, Trescott, Warren. These guys are getting in front of the puck and making fantastic blocks before the puck can even get to Barczewski. For the Golden Gophers, you're seeing Cal Thomas, Sam Renzel, Ryan Chesley. These guys are also doing a great job of poking the puck free for Michigan when they're trying to weave their way into the offensive zone and and try to score a goal. So for both teams, I really do applaud their defensive effort, and that's why Michigan up 2-1 right here is so big for the Wolverines, because this is not going to be a high-scoring game, 5-4, 6-5. This is definitely it could be a three-goal game, even a 2-goal game could win this game for you because of how both defenses have been playing.
In addition to great defensive play, we've seen almost a clinic from both goaltenders. There's 25 shots for the Wolverines, 29 shots in favor of the Golden Gophers. We only have 3 goals. Both teams are playing lights out, and I know we're Michigan Student Radio, but I would like to commend Close on Nasr's goal. It's like, how are you commending a goalie on a shot he gave up? He was placed perfectly. He came over, he pressed himself up against the post, he had his shoulder up. Nasr just had an absolute laser directly in that spot left by Close. There's nothing you can do about that as a goaltender besides go, okay, that happened, and move on, because that was a perfect shot, but well played by Close. Close has been having a great game. Same with the transfer goaltender, Jake Barczewski, who I feel like I want to mention is from O'Fallon, Missouri, which is kind of close to where I live. And, I like to do my little St. Louis shout-outs on these things. That's close enough. I interned in O'Fallon, so I'm going to say that's a St. Louis shout-out for me. In addition to that, number 81 of the Golden Gophers, Jimmy Snuggerud, future St. Louis Blue. Can't root for you yet, buddy, but pretty soon. We've got just about 8.5 minutes left in this second intermission, as it's been in favor of the Wolverines. We're going to go to a little break as music and the children are about to get quite loud. We'll be back right before the start of the third period. Jake will be signing off. It'll be me and Peter. But for right now, we're going to leave you. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Yost Ice Arena. Kendall Spencer is back, but Jake Singer is not. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Well, I'm back. Peter Nasr is back. I had a nice little break. I got to enjoy those little chocolate. I don't know what do you call those desserts?
I
had like
have
3
no
of them.
clue.
I had
a
3
little
of the chocolate ones.
I had a little lemon tart in our brief little 3-minute intermission that we gave ourselves.
They were very good though. I had 3 of the chocolate ones. Probably
They were
should not-
quite good. Yost Press Box food was excellent today, all around, from the
really
desserts.
good mac and cheese.
Oh, it was beautiful today.
Nice salad.
Nice redemption. Yesterday was not the best, but they came back with a vengeance today. We've got 2 minutes left in the intermission, and I know you weren't here to talk about the Yost Press Box foods, but I'm doing play-by-play, which means that everyone is at my whim. 2-1, favor of the Wolverines. What do you like from the Wolverines so far? Give me one major thing you like, one major thing you're not a big fan of so far in this game.
Well, I liked how they were able to capitalize on that power play. They got the best power play in the country so far this season, capitalizing at, I believe, over a 35% clip on the year, which is quite high in hockey to get a power play percentage that high. They were 2 for 3 yesterday, and to capitalize on a quick one late in the third to take the lead, I think that was or late in the second to take the lead. I think that was really big. And the one thing I don't like, it's more of like a foreshadowing. Not foreshadowing per se, but this period they definitely gave Minnesota some extra chances. Minnesota's up 29-25 in the shot department, and we know what's going on. Last weekend in Madison, giving up 2 third-period leads. Yesterday, doing the same thing. Michigan's in that position again. They're up after 2. How are they going to play in this third period to be able to control the game and finish the last 20 minutes to complete this game, get a big win, a big Big Ten win? Before you have Penn State coming to town next week. This is a critical 20 minutes for the Wolverines. And they have to play some of their best hockey all year, because recently we haven't seen that in the third period. So I'm looking forward to how Michigan will come out in this third period. You have to know that in the back of their mind, that's weighing a little bit, that they've struggled in the third period to finish games. So I think that's going to be something I'm really excited to look out for here in this third frame.
Well, my MVP forever and always will be the coaches waddling to the bench in their street shoes on ice. Real quick, who was your MVP for Michigan through those first 2 periods?
I really like Seamus Casey. He had an assist on the first goal on a really good pass, and he's just been really aggressive, forechecking, keeping the pucks in the zone. I really liked how he's played so far through 2 frames.
We got 20 more minutes of puck here for you on WCBN Sports, as Brindley's going to win the face-off and then fall over. Pass back to Casey. This time, this period, the Wolverines will be shooting from left to right. That's where they're skating. Opposite for the Golden Gophers as they lose control of it in the offensive zone. McGroarty working on 2 different Minnesota players before Duke comes away with it, and it's lost as Brodzinski tips it away before being recollected by McGroarty. A nice play attempt by Duke. He was right in front of the net, wanted to put a little move on. Unfortunately, just puck skipped off his stick. Wolverines don't let Minnesota clear originally, but that's going to get out. Thomas sending it up the ice for an icing. We'll bring it back down.
Yeah, you mentioned that Tyler Duke had a really good opportunity here. Puck hopped on the stick a little bit, couldn't get a really good opportunity with his backhand, and Close was able to make a simple save, as we see it on the replay. That's a quality pad save by Close, keeping the pad down as on the backhand attempt.
Puck comes out of the Michigan zone. Still in Michigan possession. Warren has it now, so they'll have to regroup. Shifsky launching it around the boards. Ernest will find it on the left side, but it's taken away by Chesley. Bit of back and forth. Warren in front of the net. Up to Truscott at the blue line. It's tipped awkwardly. Almost was a goal. Shifsky's rebound attempt was just no good. Wolverines still have possession, but that's going to be picked away before kept in by Nasr. A heads-up play. Unfortunately, nobody waiting for him on that right-hand side. Wolverines in the neutral zone. Casey will try and take it up himself. But he's got 3 Gophers in the area. I'll say Gophers. You can pretend that they're golden. Battling for it on the far boards. It's going to be Thomas coming away with it. And once again, we'll kind of regroup in the neutral zone. Hughes picking up the ice. Past him from Moldenauer's behind his back. He can't reel it in. It's all the way back down to the defensive zone, but it'll be another icing call.
And Michigan, another good couple of opportunities. Shifsky had a really good chance. He just missed the net on a rebound chance, on a rebound opportunity. Michigan's definitely controlled these first 2 minutes, and that's what you like to see. They've kept the puck on their end of the ice. And that's something you definitely want to continue with 18 left to go here in the final frame.
A certain WCBN Sports member is not participating in the crowd involvement at this moment. I will leave his name out of it, but just know I see you and your refusal to participate, as there'll be another quick whistle on the ice, which means I have more time to bash redacted. I'm looking right at you, buddy.
Crowd's been really good overall today, especially when the football team came out. I think that really gave a nice juice to energy for this hockey team.
Wolverines come away with the puck in the offensive zone. Long shot, no good. Almost collected by Truscott and put back in, but he'll pass it out. McGroarty has it on the right-hand side. That goes directly off of Clark, but unfortunately just a bit too much on it. That could have been dangerous, as Clark would have been wide open and all alone in the Gophers' offensive zone, but the puck just slipped out of reach. And the Wolverines avoid potentially a breakaway. Estapa comes flying in, lays a body on a Gopher. Looked like there could have been a call, there wasn't, and then another big hit by Draper. Pass from Fantilli to Estapa, gets it into the Wolverine zone. Draper over to Rowe. Warren being played very tightly by Kurth. Unfortunately, the puck just slips out. Wolverines go for a line change. Rinzel up to John Middlestat. I think that's it. Yep, John. He loses it. It's in the hands of Casey. And baby, you're a firework. Shifsky trying to get it in the offensive zone. 4 Gophers in his immediate vicinity. But Pinanimi can't get it out. Been quite a musical crowd today. Casey across to Nasr. Back to Casey on the near side. Nasr front to Truscott, deflected, but Wolverines come away with it. Nasr has it again, accidentally passes it directly into the legs of Strobel. He comes away with it. There's a shot attempt by Casey directly into the chest of Close. Able to corral the rebound he gave up, though, and he'll glove it. We get a whistle of a face-off in the Golden Gopher zone. Both teams once again get a line change in here. 16:02 remaining in the third. Shots 29-28 in favor of the Golden Gophers. I don't know why I'm getting nasally all of a sudden. I'd like to apologize if anybody can tell.
I don't know what they're waiting on. Something. Oh, maybe a little line change issue here to finish up.
Face-off is Hughes and Nelson. Nelson wins it, but it's going to be collected by LaPointe. Tipped into the neutral zone by the Golden Gophers. Fantilli beats Brzezinski to it in the foot race. Up for LaPointe, but Moldenauer comes flying across. Can't manage to corral it. LaPointe can. Hughes' pass looking for Duke is picked off by Nevers. More batting around the neutral zone. Neither team really wanting to set anything up here. And this has really just been the story of the game, hasn't it?
Yeah, especially in this third period, these first couple minutes, nobody's really getting anything going.
Chipped back down the ice, not far enough for an icing. Chesley will have to play it. Pitlick tries to whack it in, played by Brzezinski. Warren for Truscott. Launched back in. Warren behind the net. Truscott. Wolverines trying to get it out and get something set up. He finds Brindley. Brindley's hot, working past Rinzel, puts a move on Rinzel, but unfortunately the puck gets caught in the skate, and between the skate and the post. Good passing by the Golden Gophers. Unfortunately leads to a Michigan breakaway. Rucker McGroarty will rear back and launch one, and if it was a field goal, it still wouldn't have been good.
Michigan with some good back checking there on that Minnesota opportunity. Rucker McGroarty got back, forced the errant pass, and then brought the puck down for an opportunity that was cleared. There was a shot into the net, and as you said, Kendall, would have been no good if it were a field goal.
Wide right. As Estapa and Clark take the face-off. Won by nobody. This is one of my favorite parts of hockey, is the ref going, bad, try again.
Redo it, and
I didn't like it.
He didn't kick anyone out this time, but
I didn't like it.
No one put in a timeout on this face-off.
Sassy. Golden Gophers come away with it. That's Kester up to Kurth. Very aggressive sounding names there. Kester, cross ice pass, looking for Lamb. Oh my God, is Fish out there too? No, just Lamb. Up to Middlestat. That one bounces off the post. That was dangerous. A long, wobbly shot. It almost found its way in. Wolverines come away with it. And then lose again. And once again, we're kind of in neutral zone purgatory. Actually, this game has been referenced in Dante's infamous Divine Comedy in the Purgatory section. That one was a little forced, but I've had literature mentions in my 2 previous broadcasts, and I felt like I needed to work in a 3rd one.
Well, that's fair. This game has definitely been neutral zone based, especially in this 3rd period. Minnesota's been being a little as Michigan wins the draw.
Warren looking for Ernest, I believe, as we'll turn around and do it again. Fantilli and Pinanimi behind the net. Unfortunately, it gets left there for a Golden Gopher to recover. Kester, long shot deflected off the body of Nasr. Nobody can come away with complete control of it. Middlestat keeps it in the zone. Shifsky comes in like a heat-seeking missile ever, and Nasr comes away with it. He has a breakaway opportunity. Unfortunately, the shot is high. May have deflected off of the stick of Close there. Wolverines maintain possession. Gets batted away from Ernest into Truscott's hand. Cross-ice pass to Casey. Casey coming in and gloved by Close. But there is a whistle.
I didn't see the penalty. I don't know if you saw what's going to be called here.
I did not see the penalty. I just heard the children.
I hear them too.
That's going to be on which Middlestat? One of them, Luke Middlestat.
Interference is going to be called. So Michigan has a really good opportunity here on the power play. I mentioned it during the intermission how successful Michigan's been on the power play this season. This is a great opportunity to go up 2 goals if you can capitalize on this power play and really take hold of the energy in this building and in this game.
Minnesota wins the face-off, manages to clear the puck. Like you mentioned, this is where we saw some of the Wolverines' best work so far this game, hoping that they can recreate that magic here. Brindley in the McGroarty on the near side. Finds Brindley behind the net. He'll pass it around. Nobody there, unfortunately. Wolverines have to clear. Minnesota tries to get a line change. No good. Just one man gets off. Casey in for Duke. Duke across the ice to Brindley. Can't convert. Recollected by Hughes. McGroarty has it on the right-hand side. Up to Casey at the blue line. Cross the ice pass for Brindley. Looked like he was going to take the slapper. Thought better of it. Back to Casey. Casey, long shot deflected off of Close's skates, and it's going to be behind the net for the Wolverines to start over. Truscott passes behind him to Moldenhauer. Moldenhauer will take it in the zone himself. Pass attempt is deflected, but collected by Truscott. And once again, the Golden Gophers will clear.
And Michigan not being able to set anything up really on this power play. Good penalty kill so far by the Golden Gophers. And even right now, they're just forcing Michigan to chase the puck in their defensive zone, killing clock, only 25 seconds to go.
Brought in by the Wolverines. Moldenhauer loses it. Truscott manages to keep it in the offensive zone. Time ticking away. Moldenauer pass behind the net. And a great shot attempt by Nasr is just going to miss. 6 seconds left. Truscott at the blue line. He's looking in, hoping to get a stop on the rebound. No good. It's going to be saved, and then there's going to be a bit of an argument. Zastapa tends to be a bit of a polarizing figure.
He was ejected yesterday on a game misconduct. And they're just getting in that close after the play, but Michigan had a really good quick passing play for a shot by Nasr, but he just missed the net wide. And with only a second to go on this power play, can Michigan just use some momentum from the power play, although they're not going to get a power play goal, to kind of shift the ice, keep the ice tilted towards the Gophers net, and try and double this lead, because you definitely want a 2-goal lead, especially with what's been happening.
Don't want to give the Golden Gophers a chance to sneak back like they did last time. They're back to full strength, and they've got momentum coming down. That's more. Played very tightly by Duke. There's going to be a whistle.
I think the puck just went out of play. I didn't see where it went, though. So
any puck that leaves the ice, I immediately lose track of. Everyone's like, hockey's so hard to watch because you can't see the puck. Wrong. It's on stark white ice. But once it gets into the stands, it's gone. You're never seeing it again.
Especially with a majority blue crowd here, with some maize, but majority blue faithful here today.
Warren, the puck behind the net. Cleared all the way up the ice. They're going to call a icing on that one. Bit controversial, as it seemed like both Chesley and Draper got there at the same time, but we'll bring it back into the Wolverine zone. Shots 31-30 in favor of the Wolverines.
Yeah, the lines have been saying Draper got there first, beating him out, and or correction, the other way around, that Draper got beat. So Minnesota has a face-off in their offensive zone.
Warren knocks it out. Thomas and Ernest, 2 6s, chasing after it. Snuggerud cross ice pass to Chesley. Feels like tempo is picked up here with just over half this period remaining. Snuggerud picks up a pass, passes it to Moore. Once again, Duke lays out completely. Unfortunately, it looks like that one may have hurt him a bit. He comes up slow. Wolverines haven't managed to get the puck out of their own offensive zone. Golden Gophers applying the pressure. Kester coming in on that one, looking for someone right in front of the ice. That was Snuggerud. He couldn't convert. Bercheski gets a skate on it. Pass cross ice to Moore in front of the net. Once again deflected, this time off of Dylan Duke. And finally, it'll trickle out of the zone. Scary sequence for the Wolverines. Bookended by 2 great plays by the Duke brothers. Up to Moldenauer. Sends it around the boards for LaPointe, who will return it, this time to Truscott. Knocked away, now in possession of Middlestat. Middlestat cross to Clark. Deflected off of Truscott. Left for Lamb. Golden Gophers trying to set something up. Some really strong defense from LaPointe. Fish at the blue line, cross ice to Renzel. Deflected by Hughes. Moldenauer has it. He's going to drop it in the offensive zone. Teams are going to get a line change here. Brzezinski to Clark. Clark dropping it into the offensive zone. Otherwise, they put him in offsides there on Brzezinski. Nasr collecting it to Shifsky. Shifsky looking for Nasr again, just bounces off the top of his stick. Gophers get it out of their defensive zone. Can't manage to get into the offensive though. Once again, kind of lost in neutral zone purgatorio. Big hit in the corner. Nevers gets in the offensive zone. Batted away by Brindley. Brindley to Duke. Duke to Casey. Has Nevers shadowing him. This time over to Warren. Warren pass up ice, looking for Brindley. It's going to go past him be played by Close. Nothing doing again on the setup attempt. Groan from the crowd. Not quite sure what that was on. Gophers trying to regroup. It's Moore bringing it up the ice, taken away by Draper. Draper passes it to Hughes. They have a little bit of a breakaway. Hughes will shoot it himself wide right. The trickle all the way out of the zone. Miles in now. He's going to pass it over to Warren just out of his extended reach. Needs to get that before Gopher can collect it, and he does. Gloved by Rudd, who knocks it back into the Wolverine zone. That time's going to be for an icing call, and we're going to take a whistle, and I can take a breath.
Yeah, that was a long sequence there without a whistle. And we saw when Minnesota had the puck and in their offensive zone, they had a couple opportunities, and you mentioned that the Duke brothers, Tyler and Dylan, both laying their bodies out. That's the kind of effort you need late with 7:13 to go. In a tight game, up 2-1, laying the body out to try and hold on to get this win and the 3 points that come with it.
Wolverines have it in their offensive zone, trying to set something up. Nasr loses it, got his pockets picked by Pitlick. Say that 5 times fast. On a broadcast, I dare you. All he manages to do is get into the offensive zone. Snuggerud gets away with it, pass out in front to Clark, dangerous bounce. And luckily Barczewski's able to get a glove on it, as that could have just bounced right over him and into the net.
Yeah, Clark was able to just skate right into the slot uncovered. The puck was chopping and he didn't get it all on. And then a bouncing puck that Barczewski was able to hold on and freeze. And as we get the ice cleared away with 6:50 to go, and it looks like Tyler Duke just went into the locker room. He was shaken up on that blocked shot a few minutes ago, and hopefully it's nothing too serious as he goes to the locker room. So Michigan will be short a defenseman. They'll be down to 6 D-men for the foreseeable future.
That is a blow for the Wolverines, as Duke had made quite a few stellar defensive plays, laying out multiple times. Unfortunately, it is one of those that sends him to the locker room as he got beat up. Looking around college hockey as we've got extended timeout to do so. Number 1 BC is tied with number 13 Maine. Number 4 North Dakota leading over Minnesota Duluth. Providence 2-1 over Northeastern. Cornell, number 7, losing to unranked Harvard 3-2. Number 9 BU up 3-0 on UMass. Quinnipiac 3-2 over Yale. Anyone else I should care about?
Any Big Ten action?
I'm looking. Michigan State beat Penn State 5-3. And Notre Dame beat ranked Ohio State 3-0. We'll get back to this Big Ten contest. Gophers have it. Thomas, the blue line, cross ice to Middlestat. No good. Collected by Clark. Up to Thomas again. He'll find Clark, back to Thomas. Cross ice for Middlestat. This time got Shifsky playing him close, looking for Clark just out of his reach. Warren will be the one to ring it around the boards. Middlestat comes in to collect. Lamb in front of the eye, right in front of the net. And that was dangerous and eerily similar to last night's game.
And Minnesota's starting to get a little more pressure here on the Michigan Wolverines. And Michigan defensively, they got to hunker down. And I think if you're Michigan, you want to keep applying offensive pressure. Don't just let Minnesota sit in their offensive zone and just get chance after chance for the last 6 minutes. Put some pressure offensively and try to extend the lead.
Minnesota wins the faceoff. Long shot deflected right in front of the net. Wolverine able to bat it away from immediate danger, but can't get it out entirely. McGroarty finally comes away with it. He's going to take it up ice. Loses track of it. Tries to pass it across for Duke. Casey collects. Need to slow things down if they want to get anything set up on this try. McGroarty cross to Warren. Was Brzezinski on him like a glove. Cross ice. Duke behind the boards. Chesley coming up to try and take it from Brindley, and they're both going to be scrapping for it. Brindley ends up on the ground, and Chesley ends up with the puck. Passes that one across to Kester. Ring it around the boards for Nelson. He can't come away with it. Wolverines looking to break out again. Just over 5 minutes remaining in the game. Wonder if at any point, we might see Close take a leave of absence. Miles tries to send it into the offensive zone, can't come away with it. It's going to be a race between him and Pitlick. He wins, but can't get it out of the zone. Snuggerud collects, looks for Moore, who's skating too fast to collect it. They come out of the zone, got to regroup. Barczewski plays it behind the net. And for Nasr, trickles past him, collected by Renzel. It's wide for the net, and it's Jimmy Snuggerud through the legs of Barczewski, and that tied it up. 2-2. Duke is back. He appeared from somewhere, and I almost feel like this one is my fault, guys. I gotta be so honest.
I was gonna say the St. Louis Blues draft pick sneaking in and past
I've
Barczewski.
called him Himmy about 8 times off air, but I said I wasn't rooting for him yet.
It was
Just
that
an
offensive,
unfortunate-
yeah, but Minnesota applying that offensive pressure and start. Well, the puck went left the zone, but Minnesota's definitely been applying that pressure, and deja vu part 4 now possible as this game's tied, and here comes Minnesota.
Dangerous rebound left up by Barczewski. Luckily able to be batted away by his defender, and shades of last night, but in a different way. Whereas yesterday was a fluke mistake, this one felt almost inevitable, as the Golden Gophers have been the dominant team here in this third period. Nasr tries to beat Chesley out of it, but can't get past him. It's Golden Gopher coming up now. Clark to Lamb. Lamb, you heard that one, maybe. Bounces off the post. And it feels like within the past 5 or so minutes, this has become a complete Golden Gophers game.
It shifted after Minnesota killed that penalty earlier, and Minnesota felt they had the sense of urgency, and Michigan was kind of just playing lackadaisical, just trying to hold on instead of trying to push forward. And now in a tie game, Michigan's got to up the pressure, and they gotta find something here to get back in this game, get this crowd going, and take the lead here.
Trescott up to McGroarty, able to get it out of the zone, and I will once again apologize to folks at home. Brindley, long shot, bounce off of Kester. High in the air, stays in though. Brindley looking for McGroarty. They'll find Trescott, his one-timer, gloved easily by Close. I was interrupted. I'm sorry. I feel like that was my fault. I'd like to apologize to the folks at home, the folks in Yost, and most importantly,
We do have at least one potential Gophers listener. So.
Mr. Jake Barczewski. I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to do that. Wolverines win the face-off. Estapa to Warren. Warren right in front of the net. Estapa gets a shot off. Can't come away with the rebound left right in front of the net. Wolverines have to regroup. It's turned around by Draper. He picks that off. Wolverines stay in the zone. Casey, long shot, looking for Estapa to deflect it. Nowhere near his stick, however. Casey will collect it. Finds Estapa behind the net. Chipped out back to Casey. Hoping to get something set up, looking for Warren across the ice, collected by Hughes. He puts a shot on, no good. Tries to clear it, was Nelson, gloved in by Wolverine. However, they'll get a line change. It's Luke Middlestat bringing it up. He'll send it in the zone. Barczewski playing it. Dangerous situation. Shifsky comes away with the puck, zooming up the left-hand side. Has Ernest in the center, can't get it to him. And it'll go into the stands, the student section. One lucky child. Here Never listened to a Michigan hockey game. They're not children. They're the children of Yost. That is an adult. That is a college student who is legally an adult. Just over 2 minutes remaining. Some of us don't have time for overtime. It should be all of us. Michigan has about 2 minutes left if they want to keep this a regulation game. Duke long shot. He's back in the game. It's lost in front of the net. It's wide open. Unfortunately, no one is able to take advantage of that. Still, Wolverines have it. Duke long pass across to Casey. Loses a lot of the heat on it. Still, the Wolverines have possession. Now it's been taken away by Moore. Coming up the ice with Pitlick. Pitlick tried to send it around the boards. No good. May have hit off the ref. Things taking on a bit of a frantic tone here. Kester down to Moore. Kester has at the blue line. Cross ice to Chesley. Chesley across for Lamb. Bounces off of Parcheski's pads. Rebound collected by the Wolverines. Brindley will just tip it in, getting a line change. Just over 1 minute remaining. Both teams looking to slow things down here. Pass for Kurth, slips past his stick, collected by Warren. We've got officially 1 minute left in the third. Estapa getting pressure from Kurth. He couldn't get away with it. Lamb has it wide open in front of the net. Rebound almost converted by Clark, and a long shot from Luke Middlestat, gloved by Barchevsky.
Yeah, that's a really good save. 2 really good saves by Barchevsky late here in this third period. Getting the glove on it there, and if you're Michigan, you just gotta hunker down. I said that earlier. Hunker down for these last 44 seconds. Get your point, and then get to 3-on-3 hockey as they win the defensive zone faceoff.
Wolverines looking to get one more chance set up. Otherwise, we head to overtime. Nobody has it in the Wolverine offensive zone. Battling for it in the near corner that I can only see if I put my life in danger. I'm leaning over the railing right now. This is very dangerous. It's Ernest and Nelson. Nasr comes away with it up to Casey. The top of the blue line. Wide open in front of the net is where the rebound ends up. Unfortunately, it's batted away. And that will do it, as there's about 1 second left. This game, 60 minutes, wasn't enough. We will head to an overtime period. 5 minutes of bonus hockey. If nobody manages to win it, then we'll head to a shootout. Never called a shootout. How does... I feel like you've really got to be on your game in a shootout. Like, you got to be descriptive.
You got to be on the fly, too. But for Michigan, this will be their second overtime game. They lost in a shootout to Ohio State.
I was there.
Yeah.
Meant to be broadcasting, but something didn't work.
Yeah, so that was the lone overtime game for Michigan. Minnesota's been in 2 overtimes. They tied against Minnesota Duluth last weekend. And then their first game of the year was a win in overtime against St. Thomas. So both teams have a little bit of overtime experience, but you know, it's just 5 minutes, 3-on-3 hockey. There's not much better than some fun 3-on-3, fast-paced hockey.
And this truly could be anybody's game.
Mm-hmm.
But this is important for Michigan. They lost, or they gave up. They gave up the lead, obviously, here in the third period once again. So for Michigan, if you could settle, if you can get back and get to a success in this game, and then focus on preserving leads in the future, but with shots 36-36 apiece, I'd say overall this has been a pretty even hockey game, and pretty fitting that's going to overtime with 2 really good teams in the Big Ten having to duke it out, and 60 minutes not being enough.
I was going to give a St. Louis Blues update, but perhaps luckily for all of you, they haven't started yet. Brindley, McGroarty, Casey against Lamb, Nelson, Middlestat, Luke Middlestat. Michigan wins the faceoff. Casey's bringing it up. They're going to the left-hand side. He's got Nelson on him. Pass back to Brindley. 3-on-3 overtime. Brindley working around Middlestat. He's going to find McGroarty. Leave it for Brindley on the left side. Long shot deflects off the top of Close's pads. They'll have to regroup as it comes out of the zone. Casey dropping it off for Nasr. It's him and McGroarty get off, make way for Truscott and Shifsky. Nasr has it, trying to work past Nelson, drops it off for Truscott. He has Shifsky on the left-hand side, no defenders on it, but bounces off the stick. Battling for it on the near side. Nasr and Lamb both in the race. And unfortunately, Truscott gets tripped up and it's going to get picked up by Nelson. Almost loses it behind his own net. Middlestat streaking up the ice. Middlestat takes off. Snuggerud has it now. It's him, Pitlick, and Rinzel. Snuggerud pass across the ice for Rinzel. Rinzel skates around the net. Drops it off for Snuggerud on the left side. Long shot wide. Doesn't even hit the net. Outside of they're back in their defensive zone. Trying to get something set up. It's still Snuggerud, Rinzel, and Pitlick for the Golden Gophers. Shot into the legs of Barchevsky by Snuggerud.
And each team getting an opportunity to possess the puck in their offensive zone here this first minute 48 of overtime. And it's good save by Barchevsky to keep the game alive. And can Michigan win this defensive zone faceoff and get another opportunity here offensively?
There have been 74 shots in this game and only 4 goals.
Both goalies have looked really good today. They both played really well.
Minnesota comes away with the faceoff, but they can't keep it in the zone. Kester's got to take it all the way back to behind the goal. McGroarty played tight on him. Kester, Moore, and Kurth. Kester up for Moore. Kurth comes in streaking. Can't get open. Drops it off for Kester. Works past McGroarty. Comes in. Nothing going back. Kester still behind the net, working around. Leaves it for Kurth. Bit of a check by McGroarty. Out of the zone, Chesley. Halfway through this overtime period. Chesley drops it off to Lamb, who got bodied, collected by Nelson, however. Shot on, no good, comes out of the zone once more. Wolverines just trying to stop the pressure, not getting anything going themselves. Nelson, pass up ice for Nelson, the right side. Shot attempt deflected, and he's got McGroarty. McGroarty's all alone. He's got Chesley in front of him, slowing things down. He's going to take it himself. Long shot. Deflected off of Close. Slowed things down there. May have not been to his favor. Close was ready for that one. Wolverines' best chance. Nothing comes of it. And Minnesota once again has possession of the puck. Dropping it off for Snuggerud. Snuggerud taking it up ice himself. Cross ice pass to Thomas on the right side. Will chip shot. Deflected easily by Barchevsky. On the near side, pass up to Snuggerud. At the blue line, skating all the way across to the left side. Works past Truscott. Cross ice pass for Thomas. He's wide open. Deflected off the right pad of Barchevsky. There's only 1 minute remaining in this overtime period. Wolverines finally have slowed things down, have possession of the puck. That is Truscott. And Shifsky. Hughes. Shifsky was looking for Hughes. Hughes fell, unfortunately. Shifsky drops it off for Tyler Duke. Drops it for Shifsky. Shifsky working around Pitlick. Shot into the stomach of Close. He looked like he wanted to give that off to his teammates.
He gave the referee a little side eye, like, I'm trying to play this puck with 34 seconds left. You see that line 3-on-3 with all that open ice. The goalies will try and play it, try to build an advantage. But going back to Michigan real fast, Barczewski making a couple good saves with long rebounds that Michigan turned into quick opportunities, or in this case, the offensive zone setup.
Wolverines win the face-off. Casey has it. Trying to beat Pitlick to the puck. He can't. Pitlick comes away with it. Big hit. Casey high and wide. Not going to be good. Brindley, Pitlick working on it. Clark has McGroarty applying the pressure. McGroarty pass to Brindley is kept in. Cross ice to Casey. 10 seconds remaining in this overtime period. Casey looking for Brindley. It's going to be no good. Clark's going to come away with it. There's 5 seconds left. They have unlikely to get an offensive chance off here. Long shot from Clark, no good, and we're going to head to a shootout.
Fun little overtime period there. We saw some chances on both sides, and it's going to be settled in a shootout, a little one-on-one action. And I think it's fitting this game goes to a shootout. The goalies face 39 shots apiece. Both goalies have looked really sharp, and now it's going to be up to them to close it out for their respective hockey teams.
Both goalies with a 95 save percentage in this one. Stressful now as I attempt to call my first ever shootout.
We'll see.
I feel like this is like the true test. Oh my God, I'm gonna have to in order to call some of these goals, I am putting my life in danger. My whole head is over the railing.
And I'm interested to see the lineup that Naruto brings out for the shootout, who he's gonna send up to shoot.
One of them isn't Nasr. I'm getting him on the phone. I don't have Naruto's phone number.
He is sitting up. Nasr is sitting up in the bench like he is expecting to potentially be the first shooter.
Minnesota will have the first shooter. It's going to be Jimmy Snuggerud. Oh boy, I'm in danger. Snuggerud picks up the puck. Comes down, working on it. Shot directly into the knees of Barczewski. Light work.
And made a couple stick handles and looked like he was trying to go 5-hole. Barczewski shut the door. And
the first shot for the Wolverines will be Dylan Duke. Approaching it from the right side. He moves in. Deeks once, twice. Just barely misses on the left side.
Duke trying to use a little bit of speed and then slow it down. But good save by Close, and we go to the top of the second.
Minnesota will offer Cal Thomas, defenseman, as their second shooter. Comes in from the right side as well. Stick handles, tries to put it past Barczewski's left side, no good, batted away. 0-2 for the Golden Gophers.
That's a really good save by Barczewski. Thomas looking to go backhand after skating past and get it over the pad. And
Seamus Casey for the Wolverines. Picks it up, coming from the left. And he roofs it over the shoulder of Close. Seamus Casey in the shootout. And all the Wolverines need is one more stop from Barczewski, who has been lights out in this game.
That was a great goal by Casey, and this is for the win here.
Brzezinski for the Golden Gophers. He's got a lot going on. It's deflected by Barczewski. He'll get a celebration. He'll get his team out there, and he'll get the Michigan Wolverines the shootout victory against the Minnesota Golden Gophers. It almost felt like it had to end this way after a lights-out performance from both goaltenders. Seamus Casey scores in the shootout, and Barczewski proves to be the difference.
Yeah, that was a really good job. Really fun shootout there, and a great goal by Seamus Casey. What a move there. Backhand roofed it. And then for Barczewski to seal the deal on the last save. Nice little celly there himself, and the two teams shaking hands at center ice. One of the great traditions of hockey and in college hockey. See it after every series, which is really fun to see. And these two teams won't meet again until the last weekend of the series in Minneapolis, so that's going to be very exciting to see where the teams are at that point in time. But Michigan definitely needed to get this win in the shootout here, and they got Penn State coming for 2 next week before they head to Minnesota to face St. Cloud State during Thanksgiving weekend.
Wolverines avoid the sweep. tie this series up with the Golden Gophers. 3-2 victory in the shootout for the Wolverines. That is all we have for you tonight. I'd like to thank both of my fellow broadcasters, Jake Singer, Peter Nasr. I've been Kendall Spencer. It has been a pleasure broadcasting with you. We'll leave you, as we always do, with a good night and a Go Blue.